I am Jessie. I'm a mom of two. I have a 3-year-old boy and a 5-week-old little girl at this time. I am also a behavioral special ed teacher, and this YouTube channel is just to share about different things I find online that have made my life easier. Whether that's classroom finds, mom finds, Amazon outfit finds. I'm like the biggest Amazon fan in the world, and I thought that I would share some of that with everyone. So today we are going to start out with an Amazon Busy Box activities. So I think everybody knows that's a mom. There are morning baskets and busy boxes and sensory bins are a big thing right now. And I love all of those things, but I needed to make a system and choose something that was going to be obtainable for me as a mom to a toddler and to a 5-week-old, that were screen-free options and that were going to boost both his cognitive development, his fine motor skills. Those pre-writing skills are huge in kindergarten, and also just boost his independent play and his creativity. So these are the things that I came up with. So these are my different busy boxes. So I'm going to start out explaining what I'm storing these activities in and why I chose these. So these are an acrylic translucent box. The snaps are really easy to get on and off. My 3-year-old could do it by himself, no problem. And they're clear, so he can see what the items are. This is important for me because the way I use these are in the morning. I have him go pick a busy box, so he gets to pick, and I rotate every week. Not all of them, but I would say maybe 2. I'll take whatever activity is in that box and put a new activity in. So they're always changing. So it's important that he's able to see what's inside of the box, so he gets to make that choice. And then it's important that he can open and close them by himself, because I require my child to put things back in the box before he gets a new one. That's just for my sanity. Does it happen every time? No, I don't live in a fantasy world, but that is ultimately the goal. So let's look at what's in this busy box first. So the first thing I have in here is this Montessori tool kit. My son is obsessed with building. My husband is a contractor, and he is in a phase where he wants to do everything that daddy does. And so this was a huge one for him. And so it comes with this little screwdriver. It was hard for him because you do have to change it from a Phillips head to a flat head. But once I showed him that that's what you needed to do to screw in the different screws, he was able to pick up on it pretty fast. I will place some of these already in the little screw hole for him. And I do that, like put it in the box like that. That way he isn't trying to put it in the hole, because that was a little frustrating for him at this age. But as he gets older and we continue working on the fine motor skills this requires, I'll start having him put the screws in the holes himself. This also promotes really great problem solving skills and working through big emotions. As a behavior teacher, that's huge. So I picked things that are going to keep him engaged but aren't necessarily easy, because we want him to kind of work through these big emotions and problem solve independently. Now, I'm always going to be there to kind of talk him through it, but he's always been able to kind of push past it, and then he ends up being really proud of himself. I would say this activity keeps him busy for about 15 to 20 minutes, which is why I also included in this box a busy light board. All these products, like I said, are from Amazon. He loves this thing. It has all these different switches. He can unplug and plug in different wires. It has a sound. And so he bounces back and forth between these 2 items, and put together, I would say this busy box keeps him busy for about 35 to 40 minutes, where he's engaging in independent play. I often talk to him while he's engaging in these things. I'll have him bring it into his sister's room while I'm feeding her, and he really enjoys this box. So this is the first busy box that I created. Second one, I would say hands down, is his absolute favorite. So this took some research. This is not my idea by myself, but it is a cut up pool noodle, golf tees, and a tiny hammer. And I would say this box keeps him entertained 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, and they hit the golf tees into the pool noodle. This pool noodle has been through Hades and back. It's had golf tees shoved in every place a golf tee could possibly fit in here. And he loves it. Like I said, that construction, play is a favorite of his right now. This is really great for fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination, two really needed things for pre-writing and eventually writing into kindergarten and first grade. So we're already starting to develop those skills, and it's screen-free, so you can't ask much more than that. I typically put 2 things you're gonna notice in one box unless it's just like a really big activity. That way there's some controlled choice there, which is really important in decreasing negative behaviors and attention behaviors. So I also have Play-Doh in here. I do have to help him get the Play-Doh out. So if you're wanting like a completely independent box, I would pick one of my other ones, but it's really not hard. I just open up a Play-Doh, 1 or 2, take them out, leave them on the ground. I have him use the top, the lid, to like roll his Play-Doh on, so I don't end up with those really cute Play-Doh marks all over my table or my carpet or my floor or wherever he may be at that time. But he loves pulling the Play-Doh out and will use the golf tees and the little hammer, he calls it a knock-knock, to build things with the Play-Doh as well. So this one, like, absolute favorite, 10 out of 10, keeps him, I would say, probably the busiest out of all the busy boxes that I made. So this one is a stellar one. Next busy box I have is a Melissa and Doug item in here, and it is threading with beads. So it comes with 2 different strings and then different shaped wooden beads and blocks and things like that. So what your child does is they need to thread the string through the bead, pull it all the way through, and you're basically making a little necklace. Again, at this age, we're really focusing on those fine motor skills. I've done it to where I've yelled out colors and had him string it on in a certain order, and he loves that game. I will say this one probably only keeps him occupied for maybe 15-20 minutes, and that's with me like playing the color game or asking him to make me a necklace or something like that. He is very active, and I think this one is just a little slow for him. But he will pick it sometimes, and we do pull it out just to provide some variation throughout the different times we do these busy boxes. But they're a very solid toy. If your child enjoys sitting and focusing on something, which there are some toddlers out there, don't tell me there aren't, this would be a great option for them. So this next busy box I created, I was gonna try out. I did not have great hopes for it, but I wanted to see, and it surprised me because he absolutely loved this activity. And again, not my idea. This is not something that I came up with on my own, but he really enjoyed it. So you may have seen this activity with just colored dots, which works beautifully, but I did it with bluey stickers. So you take 2 popsicle sticks, you put them together with the sticker, and then you cut them down the middle. And then your child has to find and match the different popsicle sticks to make the picture. I think doing it with like a character or a TV show theme is more fun and engaging than just colors. But I think if you had a younger child, maybe like a 1.5 to an early 2, colors would probably be a good choice. I did make the corresponding popsicle sticks the same color to kind of help him out a little bit, but he was able to do this independently, and he was really proud of himself when he matched it. The second activity I put in here was just a super simple coloring book and crayons. I would say that he did the popsicle sticks. It took him maybe 10 to 12 minutes. I could probably throw some more in there, and then he colored for the rest of the time. I would say, again, maybe another 15 minutes. So we're looking at about 30 minutes of independent play with this box. If I had to give this box a rating, I would give it probably a 7. Okay. This next one I had high hopes for, but it didn't really pan out, only because of my child's age. So this next box is filled with Lincoln Logs, and it was a really precious Lincoln Log holiday like house camper set, and it comes with the sweetest little accessories for camping, like a little door and window. However, I did not realize how difficult it can be to put together Lincoln Logs, and I actually kind of had to remind myself when we opened this box. So this was a really great activity for my son and my husband to spend together doing at home. I think this box is going to take a lot of teaching before he is able to do it independently. However, the product itself is really great quality, super durable, like not flimsy at all. Like I said, just absolutely precious little accessories. I got this on the spring sale, so it was really cheap. And I think this is gonna be a really fun toy for him when he's a little bit older. So I'll probably be rotating this one out for his Magnetiles, which are a huge hit as well. Okay, we are on our last 3 busy boxes. I created 8 in total to kind of keep in rotation. And like I said, just give them some different options to pick from throughout the day. I mostly do busy boxes in the morning. However, there are other times of day where I need him to go do something on his own. So we have 3 more. This next one I really liked because it can grow with him. And so it is these little dinosaurs that click together, and you are matching the uppercase letter to the lowercase letter. Now, my 3-year-old is a pretty typically developing 3-year-old, so we're still working on our letters in general, as much as our upper and lowercase letters. But as an educator in Alabama, I can tell you that recognizing upper and lowercase letters and knowing that they go together is a kindergarten standard. So this is definitely something that we are going to be working on, probably starting late 3K, early 4K, going into kindergarten. Right now, as a 3-year-old, I just want him to color match the dinosaur, the head and the booty part, and put them together independently. So we are color matching, we're doing spatial awareness, and 5 motor skills. They're super easy to take apart and put back together. He was able to do that just fine. And he sat and did every single dinosaur in this box. And there are a lot. There are a lot. Well, as many letters as they are in the alphabet, so there's 26. But he loved putting these together, and then he would play creatively with them. So, you know, like the dinosaurs would be fighting each other, or, you know, at one point they were sliding across the floor and having a dance party or something. So he really enjoyed these. It's a really great grow with me busy box that we can use over the next several years, which makes me feel good for spending the money on them. So if I had to rate this busy box, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. This next busy box is one of my favorites. I actually had this in my classroom, and it was very calming for my students. I teach students, like I said, in a behavior unit. A lot of my students are on the spectrum or have a mood disorder is mostly who I see. I also have students with ADHD and ADD. So this was in my classroom, not necessarily for the color matching aspect of it, but it gave quite a calming effect to sort, especially for my friends with autism spectrum disorder. They would also line them up, and they really enjoyed these. So I thought I would try this item at home since my kiddos at school loved it so much. Now my 3-year-old does not use them to calm. He uses them to play mostly. And so it comes with 6 different bowls and then multicolored. These are dinosaurs. They come in different animals, like one's little teddy bears. There's another one that's like multiple different animals. Same with the alphabet dinosaurs. There are other animals if your kid is not a dino kid. But it comes with these different colored little dinosaur figurines made out of hard plastic. I would call that plastic. And then it comes with tweezers. Now at first, he was very tempted to just pick them up with his hands, drop them in the bowl, sort them like that. I encouraged him to use the tweezers because I told him that's what big boys do, and that was a pretty easy trick to get him to do it this way. These are really great for building fine motor skills, and again, those pre-writing skills, cannot preach them enough, are so important, and so it helps them with their grip as well. Talk to your OT friends, they'll agree with me on that. And so he sat and he picked up the dinosaurs and then sorted them all into the correct bowls, and I would say this kept him entertained just doing that for about 15 minutes. He sorted through them, and then afterwards he would dump them out and play with them. So this one was a really great, like, solely independent box. He would play with this by himself for 30 minutes. I was able to get a lot done. He goes back to this one, not quite as much as the hammer golf tee pool noodle situation, but pretty frequently he picks this one. So I would rate this one a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, this last busy box is a box of blocks, which I did not reinvent the wheel on this one, but there are very specific kinds of blocks in here. Please excuse my animals walking back and forth in the background. So the first kind of block we have in here are these very trendy rock blocks, and the reason these are so trendy is because of the different shapes and how your toddler or little one has to figure out how to stack them on top of each other so that they'll stay in balance. This is promoting spatial awareness. It is great for, again, fine motor skills, talk about them all the time, but also those problem-solving skills and working through frustration and working through those big emotions and being able to adapt is huge. So I have these in there. I also have these color block sets, and it came in a couple of different pieces. So here are just a couple of examples. Some, like this one, shaped like a little egg. They have a little beehive looking one. Came in so many different colors. They're super precious for just like imaginative play. It goes along with the Montessori kind of theme of these boxes that I have. So he has to create the play and use his imagination instead of something constantly stimulating his brain, which we see that being an issue big time in elementary school. Just heads up, parents. So I really love these because they're promoting so many play skills, so many independent skills, super colorful. They come in all different shapes. And he's done really great with these. I've been very impressed with him. He created a little city the other day. He made a pond and put little fish in it because he loves to fish. And so it's really just brought out such a creative, pretend, imaginative side of my 3-year-old. So I definitely would recommend these different kinds of blocks. I would give this one probably a 9 out of 10. I would say this keeps him occupied for about 30 to 45 minutes. So those are my Amazon Busy Box finds for my toddler. Like and subscribe. I guess I'm supposed to say that. And we will do something different next time.